everybody, thank you for joining me today. I just wanted to say this particular video is going to be a little bit longer. I didn't want to go too fast on it, and there's a certain point where we're going to do a little technique, so I wanted to make sure I got everything in and I could tell you all about it. So we're using again the Prima Rose Quartz paper. This is the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm doing all of the measurements based off of the photo that I showed at the very beginning, and I added the second photo in so that way it would stay a little bit longer, so that way if you guys needed to pause it to get measurements, you can do that. And all I'm doing is, before I started videotaping, I had cut all my mats, or some people call them layers, and then my pattern paper, which you could call, I think on there it's listed as panels, you would cut at those sizes. Okay, so we're just doing some quick cuts here. I like the paper from Prima because they give you, like, I want to say it's 4 or 5 sheets of each pattern, which allows you to do multiple cards and use the same pattern paper choices. So at one point I'm going to do one of my focal pieces is going to be a dragonfly, and I wanted to use some perfect pearls. Now this particular perfect pearls, when we get to it, it winds up being a little bit more on the red side. I was hoping it would be a little bit more on the pink. I wind up going a different way, and you'll see why here in a minute. Right now, I'm going to just pop off real quick and get it all, at least 3 of them, to a finish point with the pattern paper, and then we'll continue on from there. Okay, so here's where I've gotten them all done up to. We're getting ready to do the last, or I guess we would say the 2 panels before the focal piece and the sentiment. And all I'm doing is going around the edges with Hickory Smoke Distress ink. And I picked the Hickory Smoke because I didn't want anything too harsh of a contrast. We could have used Black Soot, but I felt like it would have been too harsh, and I just like the subtlety of the Hickory Smoke. So we're going to do that to all of the pattern paper. The only one I didn't do it to was the base piece. I did not go around the edges for that. I figured really everything on top is going to draw your attention, so that's why I made sure to hit those pieces. Alright, and we're just going to attach this here, and for the most part all of my layers are taped directly down. The only thing that's going to have foam tape is going to be the sentiment. And we're just going to lay it down here, trying to make sure I'm even and following, you know, obviously the sketch that we have. And then for the sentiment pieces, we're going to stamp those all at once, and I'm using the sentiment that says, "Life is better when you are laughing." And I'm just lining it up really to make sure that 1, it would fit, and 2, it allows me to line up with the lines on my block so I can make sure that the wording is straight. And then we're going to grab the VersaFine Black Onyx ink and stamp this one close to the left side, because on the right side we're going to have brads. And when I stamp here, I realized it didn't do a nice clean and crisp stamping. So you flip it over and you do it again. That's one of the best things about, you know, stamping on white cardstock. If you make a mistake, you just turn it over and do it again. And the second time when we stamp, we get a much better result. So now we're just going to go ahead and do all 4. I'm doing all 4 the same because, you know, sometimes you just want a card to send to somebody that, you know, doesn't necessarily have to say thinking of you, but it just to give a little encouragement. And we'll stamp the final one. and then lift up. Alright, so we'll set those to the side. Now we're going to work on the dragonfly. Now with the dragonfly, we're going to be using the medium, I think it is, yeah, the perfect medium that comes into with the kit for the perfect pearls. You could use Versamark, anything that's like a sticky you could use. So we're going to stamp down, and I liked putting it on the angle. It gives it a little bit of interest. And then all you do is you take one of the brushes that come in the kit, and you put just it doesn't take a lot of powder, but you just want to put it, you know, down over the image, and everywhere where it's sticky, this powder is going to attach. Now, here's where I made my mistake. Just like when you do embossing powder, if you don't use the static, the powder, the treat your paper first, you can sometimes wind up having extra powder in places you don't want it. And it, at this point, winds up making it smudgy. If that's the word. But it's like my hand went across it and it created more of a shadow. And I didn't want that. I wanted a nice clean image. So at this point, I've tried my cloth. I tried my Swiffer cloth that I have. I didn't like it. So I turn it over. Perfect. And we restamp it. But this time I decide, instead of doing that pinkish tone, I figure I'm going to do a gold. Because I think the gold is, or it's like an antique gold. It's going to be more forgiving. And so when I practiced, you could see here the better results. And this one is called actually Heirloom Gold. Alright, so we're going to do that 3 more times. And just make sure, like I said, I think the key is to use that static tool to make sure that nothing is sticking where you don't want it to. So that's the last one, and I'm just going to clean up here and move this out of the way. Now we're going to attach all of these to the layer piece for that. And I grabbed back the sentiments that we had done earlier. I'd attached them to their layer piece, And I'm lining up my Tim Holtz ruler, and every other hole lined up on the white area is where I'm piercing, so that way I have 3 even holes. If you haven't done this or used your Tim Holtz ruler for it, you're missing out. It helps to line things up, and it really does make it so much easier. And if you don't have any type of special tool for brads, if you have this one, which is I want to say it's a die release tool, but we call it the everything tool, you can use it to open them up, and it helps to, open them up and lay them out. And then I'm just attaching some foam to the back of that. And now I'm going to show you here just what, I did to finish it off. So we're going to attach with the ATG tape our focal piece with the dragonfly. Why did I have a brain fart right there? And then we're going to attach with the foam piece our sentiment right across. And really, I like that. It could end right there. It'd be really pretty, something nice to hand to someone, just kind of like a thinking of you. But, I always got to take it to another level. And if I'm not using sequins, I'm using splatter. So I grab the metallic accents from Prima. I add water to the black. I'm going to use the black first. And I grab a second brush that I'm going to use to bang on the brush that comes in the kit. I liked how the splatters, they were pretty light and just very evenly spread. So we're just going to real quick hit all 4 of these up. And I do have the Tim Holtz splatter brush, but on that, I think, actually at the moment, you know how you put something up and you can't remember where you put it? That's what's happening. So I just grabbed the brush, another one that I could hit on, and I still get my splatters, and it works just as well. So if you don't have the special splatter brush, you can still make this happen too. So now I'm cleaning off the brush. And I grab my cloth that I use to clean off my stamps and stuff, and I just spray some of the stamp cleaner just to clean off my brush real quick because I didn't have any water. And I'm going to use it to then pick up a gold, so that way I can splatter that across as well. So I'm doing black and gold. I could have done white, but there's so much open white with where the dragonfly is. I didn't want to use that because you really wouldn't see it. So that's why I picked the gold instead of white. And we're going to do that one on all 3 as well. And it's so fun because splattering, I mean, it's so simple, but each one is different. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you find yourself hitting harder in certain areas, and in other areas, one card will look like it has more splatter than the other. So, but I like how it creates a finished look, and I'm definitely digging it lately. So here is, I'm going to move my worksheet here that we were working on top of. Sorry for the camera movement, but I just wanted to clean it out of the way so you could see the cards all nice and neat. I really love how that turned out. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And make sure at the end of this video you check out our links, because I always put 3 videos at the end. It could be, since this is sketches, we're going to have 3 sketches at the end, just so that way if there's any that you may have missed, it will lead you to the next video. Okay? And we'll see you guys with our next video, which will be this Sunday, and it's going to be probably another color video, and I am definitely bringing out one of the princess stamps. I'm ready to color some more. Alright, you guys, thank you so much, and have a great day.